Okay, I'm not sure whether we need to do this so formally, but I guess we might as well. So reading from the remote meeting script, as a preliminary matter, this is Tucker Holland, member of the review committee for the 135 and 137 Orange Street RFP proposals. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Tom Dixon,
Here.
Leslie Snell, and we don't have Leslie Snell.
She was on the call a second ago.
Okay, Leslie mentioned she had some issues with her computer. Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Howdy. Hey, so we do we need to read like the remote meeting script like a
Don't think
No.
so.
Okay.
First of all, who's housing Nantucket?
So Anne is here and Caleb.
All right, but they've got to put their name for a public meeting.
Okay, I'll sign out into the other account.
Yeah, oh, you can just, I think you can change your name on that one though. That's all you've got to do.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
So I think everyone is identified. Brian,
where's the rest of the review committee though?
We knew that Doug cannot join today. Leslie was here and dropped off. And Laura has not shown up yet. So
okay.
We only have 2 of the 4 or 5 members right now.
Okay.
Leslie was having some computer issues.
Okay.
Today was intended to be largely organizational about going about doing the work. And so, I mean, if you or Cindy wanted to just guide us a little bit on, oh, here's Leslie. Perfect.
Okay.
Hey, Leslie.
I'm back. I had to switch to my iPad.
Oh, well, this is working.
I mean,
I can figure out how to see you all. That would be helpful.
I mean, this shouldn't probably take that long, Tucker, because it's relatively straightforward. I mean, the 5 people on the review committee would review them. Okay. You can review them independently. You can write your information down, your rationale for the preliminary rankings that you've got for each criterion. And then because it's a disposition of real property through either a sale or a lease, the actual meeting to discuss the proposals and rankings and everything has to be done in public. It can't be, typically in an RFP process, it's the entirety of the process is completely private until you get to the award of the contract. But in the sale disposition of real estate is completely the opposite. It's completely public. So you guys would then just decide when the meeting was going to be. Say, give yourselves a week or 10 days, whatever it is, to look at them. Okay. We would post the meeting, and then in that meeting, you would discuss the proposal or proposals, depending on how many there were. And you would discuss whatever ranking you felt was appropriate, highly advantageous, and so on and so forth. And you would notate the reasoning why you chose that ranking. And at the end of that, if it was clear that the committee could make a decision whether to award or not award, you could do it at that meeting. Or if you needed more information, we could determine what additional information you needed. And we could schedule, if there was questions from whatever the number of respondents are, then you would be able to, we could make arrangements to have them come in and give a presentation and answer additional follow-up questions. If there's financial analysis that we need to do behind the scenes and then discuss, we would have the opportunity to do that as well. And from that, you would be able to either make a recommendation to award to whatever proposal you felt was the most advantageous proposal, offering the best price in this because it is disposition of real estate. And then, or you could make a decision to not award and reject, and at which point we would then have to reconvene and determine what to do.
Okay, that's
Say
very
give
helpful.
yourselves probably, what is today? This is, I probably would say give yourself 7 to 10 days for you guys to familiar yourselves with them, and then we can schedule a meeting. I'll discuss them publicly and make a determination at that meeting whether you need additional information or whether you're comfortable in making a decision. Then I don't know whether you will or won't be, but that is the way that the process should work. And it's really pretty much exactly the way the process worked for Tacoma Green when we did that.
Mm-hmm. So, I had a couple of questions. Tom, did you have any questions for Brian or Cindy? No. Leslie, did you have questions for Brian or Cindy at this point? I just had a couple of questions. So Cindy has provided the evaluation sheets for everyone. I don't know, for example, if Laura and Doug or any of the other committee members would value like having, like in the case of Six Fairgrounds, where there were multiple proposals, all of the proposers came and gave a presentation. There was an opportunity to ask questions that clarified certain aspects of their proposal. I don't know if doing that in this case would be useful to members of the committee or not, but if we wanted to do that, is that something?
I mean, you could do that in the meeting if you schedule one, just let's say 10 days from now.
Yep.
We could send a request to the respondent to be at the meeting and prepared to answer any questions that may or may not happen, or we could tell them to be prepared to do a 5 or 10 minute presentation. If you want, that's fine. I don't think there would be a problem with it. Maybe just have them be available to answer any questions. If you can't, that's fine. There's not an issue. And you're right, we did do that with the one for Tacoma Green.
Right, exactly. And then another question I had was whether there's a heavy financing component in the proposal that we have by the
You can use an outside consultant for that.
Okay, so if we wanted to have someone look at that and just, furnish their thoughts and so forth.
They could furnish a written review, or they could come, you could have them come to the meeting and you could have them do a presentation on their analysis of that as well. It'd be either way, that's fine.
And so, Brian, would there, let's just say, for example, we wanted to pursue both of those things I just mentioned. Would there be one meeting where there was this presentation? Perhaps there's an outside consultant who is sharing their remarks, and that we would do the evaluation grading at that same meeting, or would there be a third meeting in this series?
I would realistically hope that if you guys had, a week or so to look at these, and then we met publicly to discuss them, and you had an opportunity for follow-up questions, and we planned time for a presentation by the financial consultant if you wanted a presentation versus written document. I don't know that you would, realistically, it would really be up to the committee after hearing all that information, if they were ready to make a recommendation to award to the chief procurement officer, and then ultimately from there to the town manager and the select board. So you may decide you want a follow-up meeting after hearing all of that to continue your own thought process and then come back and deliberate again, or you may all say we have enough information at the end of this meeting, we can make an informed decision and recommendation. I'm not, that part would be really difficult to answer and say you would need another meeting or not at this point, because I just don't know what the discussion is, where the discussion is going to lead to in that meeting about the proposal, to be honest with you.
So Tom or Leslie, do either of you have thoughts on these topics?
Trying to work my iPad. I mean, I don't really think that it's going to take more than a meeting.
Okay,
I think there's that much to review.
Tom?
Yeah, I agree with Leslie, and I think that both those ideas on having the financial consultant or to take a look at the price proposal breakdown, financing, et cetera, is a really good idea, and also having the applicant for the RFP come in and do a short presentation is a really good idea. I'm on a RFP committee for something that's not real estate related, but for the land bank, and having them come in and doing a 5-minute presentation for us and asking questions was very beneficial for our scoring. Again, a little different, but just on the process, it really helped me fill out the advantageous, highly advantageous, et cetera.
Okay, so yes, so you feel, I just want to make sure I'm clear. You both feel that you could independently between now and the next meeting go through the evaluation sheet and put down, I'll call it preliminary scoring. Then in the next meeting, hear from the proposer, hear from the consultant, perhaps fine tune what you have initially written down, and be prepared to discuss your final grade and arrive as a committee at a consensus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. So that all sounds good to me. So I think what we will need to do is to I had talked to Bernie Husser, who is a financial real estate consultant. We're working with him on the 6 Fairgrounds project right now. He's in the deal flow for a lot of state projects, and so he was recommended to us initially by Ed Marchant, the town's 40B consultant. And so Bernie said he'd be happy to like take a look at it and provide his thoughts. So I've not shared anything with him yet, Brian. Is it okay to share the proposal with him? Okay.
Yeah,
So
we can send him one and ask him to review the financials.
yep. Okay, great. I'll get you his email. I'll make sure you have it. You and Cindy. And so we can ask Bernie to take a look at that, get an assessment from him on, could he be ready in a week or 10 days or so? And as well, circle back with Doug and Laura and find a date that we could all get together. And of course, check in with Kevin McGuire and the team on giving a presentation. So if that all sounds good, why don't we proceed in that manner?
Sounds good.
All right.
So so then Tucker, you and I will work on a date in the future for the next meeting. Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll
Mhm.
post it publicly like we did for this one, and we'll
Yeah.
move on from there.
Yep.
Okay.
Great. Well, Brian, thank you very much. And Cindy, thank you very much. And thank you to Anne and Caleb and Robert as part of the proposing team for being here today. And we will obviously keep you all in the loop on when that next meeting will be. But if you can let your team know, and that we're a short presentation would be great. That would be terrific. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. All right. Bye now.